Hello. I'm here to record Vinyasa class, and I'm going to take about probably 5 minutes or so to introduce the class in the beginning. So know that you can grab anything you need, like water, your mat, anything for practice, and just get comfortable for a little while I speak. If you want to go for sitting in a seat, that's great, or placing your body however you'd like, or being up and moving around. But I've been thinking about this class for a long time. I don't know, maybe almost 6 months. And I'm calling it Core Confidence. And when I'm teaching Vinyasa in this next bit of time, I'm going to center it around this idea of core confidence. And when I'm talking about the core, I'm speaking about like the physical core of our body, like the trunk of the body, which we'll get into in a little while. And then I'm also talking about, I guess, sort of just energetic isn't the word I necessarily want to use, but it's hard, right, to find a different word. But that place of centering our awareness, I guess, within the center of ourselves, like bringing our awareness into our center. And the way that I came up with this idea is because I was learning a bit about core shame in like months in the past. And for those of you who are new to that concept, it's like this feeling just like deep within us that we might be unworthy or unlovable, or feeling ashamed of who we are very deep down in our core, which can happen for many different reasons, compounding reasons that I guess we don't have time to talk about now, or that I'm qualified to really talk about anyway. But I thought of this sort of counter idea of core confidence, and it really tied into yoga for me because in our yoga practice, we learned the Yoga Sutras in my teacher training, which describes the Raja path of yoga, which defines yoga as the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. And so all of the sutras support that sutra, like how to do that. And there's so many, I can't name the number off the top of my head, but there are many sutras. And one of them, they offer different practices to help us still the fluctuations of the mind. And one of them is offering the oppositional thought. So if you think something very strongly and maybe it's causing you a lot of turmoil or stress or suffering, whatever word you want to use, then you can offer the oppositional thought, like, oh, that person really hates me or dislikes me. And then you can also, if you don't know the situation or whatnot, you can always offer that oppositional thought of like, well, maybe their actions don't really have much to do with me, or maybe they actually really like me, or whatever. Not the best example, but just to give an idea. And so I've been thinking about this and practicing with this within myself of core confidence. Like, what would that be like to really invite that not only thought but feeling and physicality into my experience? And so I've been playing with that for a while, and so much of it ties into yoga for me, and I'll explain it over the time that I teach the class. But primarily, I thought of it as well because I had a teacher in Seattle who was my Pilates and yoga teacher, and she taught me so much about how to use my core, and during my Vinyasa practice in particular. And it's just a really good place to practice with this, because it helped me learn how to do a lot of the Vinyasa postures without feeling like much of the tension I have felt in the past, because Vinyasa is a very athletic practice. So just know that as we get into it, I'll offer modifications, but it'll be important to really listen to your body. And that's what I think bringing our awareness into our core can help us do, is really not only moving from our mind, our mental faculties of like, oh, I should be going this low in my lunge, or I should do this many chaturanga, like push-ups or something, but really coming actually into our core, and our core will help us not only stabilize and support our experience, but also guide us. And just physically, it's a really great tool, I think, to work with in your day-to-day life and also your movement practices as well. So I'm sure I've taken up, I'm just about 5 minutes here. I could talk about this for like literally the whole amount of time I would teach the class, but we can leave it at that for now. And one thing I want to clarify though, a little bit more, I have all of these notes written out that I didn't really even touch on a bit of it, but I will get into just a bit of the physical structure, like what I mean when I'm saying core of the body. I think my mind often in the past goes to like a six pack of abs and a lot of intimidation around like doing core work, because it's like I imagine in my mind just like being on like on the floor doing like sit-ups, just like sweating and like feeling so uncomfortable, like can't breathe, and like I don't know, it just feels like intimidating to me to do core work. So I'm not just speaking about the superficial muscles in our abdomen. We have different sheaths, different layers of muscle, different layers of tissue and skin in the body, or in the core, around the body and in the core. So I'm not just speaking about like our rectus abdominis, which is one of the most superficial muscles in the abdomen that actually connects our rib cage to our pelvis, as many of our core muscles are going to help us bend forward, but they also help to stabilize us. So I'm not just talking about those muscles, I'm also talking about our diaphragm, the dome-shaped muscle that lives in between the upper thoracic cavity and the middle lower cavities. So separates like our heart and lungs from the rest of our viscera, our organs. And this is a muscle that primarily helps us breathe in ways. There are many different muscles that help us breathe, but it's one that helps to the body function in breathing. And so this also is a big part of our core, is our breath, how we're breathing, which is a great reason to bring this into our vinyasa practice. And then also when I talk about the core, I'm talking about the back, not just the front. So we're like three-dimensional beings, or I don't know how many dimensions exist, right? But I'm also speaking about the back, the trunk, our spine. And so we have a lot of course, like muscle tissue, whatnot in the back that helps to support us and helps us bend, flex, move the whole spine, the whole trunk, and the whole spine, and in turn, the rest of the body. And then also our core involves our pelvis, so that's like our hips, not only like the physical skeletal structure, but also the different muscles that go into play within the pelvic region, into the hips, and also into the inner thighs. That was a big learning thing for me in my practice in Seattle with my teacher, was this engagement of my inner thighs as well, which lead up into the core. And of course, I can't go through like every muscle and every viscera and all the things, but it's like our core is a really important part of our being. So many precious organs and important things are in here. So I'm not just speaking about let's focus on our core, like let's focus on our abs. I'm actually talking about feeling the support of this area and the connection to this area, so that we can also experience the interconnectedness, the wholeness, the unification of our whole body and our whole being as we practice. Okay, so now I've gone much over my 5 minutes, but that's my intro. Okay, had to adjust something on my computer, and then now we're going to get started with our physical practice. And you might see me referencing my screen a little bit throughout practice, but I wrote out my sequence and I might reference it as we go. So if you're not already, go ahead and get on your mat and we'll find a seat. So I'm going to start out in a seat. That's what I am offering. If you would like to lay down or come into a different posture, you're more than welcome. But we'll begin in some sort of grounding posture where we can sort of slow down and feel for a moment, really spend some time welcoming ourselves into this practice. So if you're not already, go ahead and close down the eyes and we'll begin to turn the awareness inward. So let's start by sort of taking a little internal inventory, noticing the physical body. So begin to bring your awareness between the points of contact between the body and the floor, noticing the support underneath the body. And then let's take a moment to notice how the physical body feels. Just noticing the different sensations in the body. One of my teachers talks about this too, saying, noticing the sensations and if they're unpleasant, pleasant, or sort of neutral, like some places maybe we can't even feel, meeting it with this similar sort of mindful awareness, meaning like a non-judgmental, curious sort of perception, awareness, understanding. So we're doing this just to gain information about how things really are for us right now. So now is the beginning of our yoga practice. Although we're not physically moving, yoga is a practice where we practice this unification of mind and body, or these sort of dualistic or seemingly separate aspects of ourselves, and eventually maybe even the world around us. And so, with this practice, first we have to know how things really are. So, we sort of step into the present moment, and oftentimes sitting or having some sort of supportive meditation posture can give us more capacity to be present. It can be hard when the stimuli of the world is kind of hitting at us from every which way. So here we are on our mats or wherever you're practicing, and just feeling. We're feeling our physical body, noticing how things are. And from there, let's bring our awareness into the more maybe subtle aspects of the self, or maybe it even feels a little bit more loud sometimes, but just noticing your emotional tone or your mood. Sort of how are you feeling on that level? Yeah, and just taking time to check in, trying to practice, just gently practicing this non judgmental, sort of curious awareness instead of it being necessarily right or wrong, more just sort of welcoming it into your experience. And from there, let's bring the awareness to the thoughts. This can be kind of like a trippy, weird practice. Definitely is for me sometimes, but we'll just take a moment, or, definitely a few moments here just to notice the thoughts. Noticing what you're thinking, how you're thinking, sort of even the tone of your mental voice or the speed. How is the mind fluctuating? Even if you experience it more in like a physical sensation sort of way, or maybe you really can hear the thoughts, or maybe the mind is quiet. Mine does that often when I try to practice this. uh, just noticing the mind. And here we're really, practicing this, as people call it, mindful awareness, where we're practicing not avoiding how we think, how we feel, but also not clinging, not poking, not prodding. But kind of with this sort of practice, this understanding that things fluctuate. So things might feel tense, but they also might change. or they also will change. Everything changes, constantly. Even the physical sensations in the body or the thoughts or that really difficult feeling you might have. So if we can just shed our awareness onto it, then maybe we can know it and then it can move along. Who knows? Just a thought. And from here, bring the awareness to the breath. So let's just begin to notice the breath, how it is in this moment. What is the speed of your breath or the depth? No right way to breathe or whatnot here. Just inviting us, to practice this knowing, this curiosity. And then as we notice the breath, let's also notice the body. So the points of contact between the body and the floor. And I invite you to bring your awareness to your abdomen and just notice. Notice how you feel there. Maybe you feel really, really good there. Maybe it feels easy and supported. Maybe you feel maybe a little knotting or tension or pain, stuckness. There's like so many words you could use to describe, and so many words that can't even do justice, right, to how we feel. But let's take a moment to invite not only a sense of ease in the abdomen and softening, but also support. That's kind of the the nice key to our practice, our yoga practice, especially the asana, the physical practice, but is this sort of balance between strength and ease. So with us working on core, it's not just like we're going to just suck in our core the whole time and not breathe. It's actually about creating stability in the core while breathing, allowing the breath to move, which takes time maybe to learn. It definitely is taking time for me. So I'm very much a student of this, but let's try it. So first, let's just invite the breath to descend into the lower abdomen. The diaphragm will be a key player in this. So practicing with allowing the diaphragm to move. It's almost kind of like as if we had a jellyfish in the middle of our abdomen, just below our chest, that kind of flattens and then domes. So trying to allow this muscle to move freely, maybe letting the shoulders soften, the neck lengthen, and then allowing the breath to descend from the nose or the mouth through the chest into the abdomen. Easy breaths. And then from there, let's just begin to gently bring the navel toward the spine. So in yoga, we call this a bandha, which can be translated as lock. Bandha is a Sanskrit word. All of the words that I use to describe yoga that aren't English in this class are going to be Sanskrit, which is an ancient language developed in India. But bandha means lock. We call it Uddiyana bandha. So we talk about that as being like the navel seal or the navel lock, or you could think about it as the navel support. So it's not sucking in the abdomen so we can't feel or we can't breathe. And it's not about getting rid of the tissue, the organs, the important structures in our abdomen. It's not about looking a certain way or being smaller in the waist or anything, in my opinion, at all. It's about how to create stability in the trunk so that we can move more freely and in a more supported way in the rest of the body. So let's practice just as we're sitting. So bringing that navel toward the spine and then breathing in and out, maybe taking some deeper breaths. And even as we breathe in, still keeping a bit of that sort of um, pulling inward of the navel. And as we exhale, maybe we pull the navel in just even a little bit more. And try to relax the shoulders and allow this work to be done in the core of our body. We'll just take a few more breaths here. Let's take a breath together. As you're ready, take an inhale in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out of the mouth. Again, like that. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. It's different here. Inhale in through your nose. Seal your lips and exhale through your nose. Again, like that. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale out through the nose. One more together. Inhale in through the nose. Exhale out through the nose. Okay, continue on breathing either in and out through the nose or in through the nose, out through the mouth, or however you see fit. I'm going to breathe a lot in through my nose, out through my mouth since I'm talking. And know that in vinyasa practice, I'm going to cue our movement to our breath. So you can follow along with my cues, but know that following your own breath is what's more important. So just know that those breath cues will be there, but try not to stress too much about hitting them perfectly. It's okay if you're in your own space, your own rhythm. My practices or my offerings are just a guide, but you get to decide, yeah, what works for you. So as you continue to breathe, let's come into a tabletop position. So, still recording? Okay, I'm still recording. So from tabletop, we're gonna just set this up. So bringing our weight into our hands, into the knees, and also flattening the tops of the feet on the ground. And then when I come into tabletop, I have a little bit of like a sway in my lower back. And we're going to practice this Uddiyana Bandha again, this sort of filling in of the back with the abdomen. And then from there, before we practice cow cat, we're going to practice some pelvic tilt. So we're going to go inhale, drop the pelvis forward, and then exhale, round through that lower back. Inhale, dropping the pelvis forward, still engaging through the abdomen. And then exhale, rounding the lower back, filling in the back with the abdomen. Inhale, drop the pelvis forward. Isolating this movement, exhale, rounding through the lower back. One more together. Inhale, drop. Exhale, round. Okay, inhale back to neutral. Take an exhale here. And then again, fill in that lower back. And then inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze for cow. And then exhale, round the spine, fill in the back with the abdomen for cat. Inhale, cow. Still engaging the abdomen. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And then exhale, cat. Inhale back to center. Take an exhale here. Okay, now we're gonna extend one leg back. You can keep your toes on the ground or you can lift the leg and then engaging through that abdomen. So see the difference between my spine if you can see the camera. This is me down, and then we're gonna lift up through the lower abdomen. Right leg is extended back, and we're gonna take an inhale here. If this feels like too much, you can drop the toes down, no problem. Still engaging through that abdomen, engaging through the leg, pressing out through that right heel. One more inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend the right leg back, filling in the back with the abdomen. Exhale, knee to nose. Two more. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. A little bend in the elbows. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, right leg back. And then exhale, bring your right leg out to the side. So your right toes are in line with your left knee. And we'll come up for gate pose, they call it. I'll turn toward the camera. So gate pose here. So this right leg is extended out long. We're going to inhale, arms up. And then exhale, left arm down, right arm up for the supported side plank. And then from here, let's set this up. So instead of pushing the chest forward, we're going to line up the rib cage with the hips, engaging through the abdomen. And then from there, just beginning to gently lift the right leg. Maybe that feels like too much and you decide to bring your right leg back down. But even if the right leg is down on the ground, still engaging through the leg, we're going to bring that right leg up if you would like, or keep it down on the ground. And we're going to breathe here for 2 more breaths. Pressing through that left hand, engaging through the abdomen. 1 more breath in. And then exhale. Let's bring both hands down in front of us like tabletop, but this right foot is out to the side. And then we're going to sit our hips back and then lift the right toes up for a little bit of a stretch in our inner thigh, inner leg. If you'd like, you can even bring your head down to the ground. Just taking a couple of breaths here. You can flex through the toes or point them, just feeling how that changes the pull on the tissue. And then as you're ready, let's come up on an inhale into this tabletop. And then exhale, right leg back to meet the left. Let's flow a cow cat. Inhale for cow pose. Exhale, cat pose, rounding through the spine, and then let's set the hips onto the heels. Hands come about maybe 6 inches or so in front of the knees and rounding through the spine. So we're going to really stretch this upper back, chin towards the chest, still engaging through that abdomen just gently. Let's take 1 more breath here. And then on an inhale, walk it forward to tabletop and then keep bringing the hands more forward, maybe even a foot in front of you, a little wider, like mat width distance. And then let's bring the chest down, maybe the forehead down, or maybe one cheek down. And then we're practicing, they call this puppy dog pose. But it's a big chest opener. You're also sort of opening up your triceps, your arms, yeah, I don't know, just big chest opener here. So breathing into the shoulders, softening the neck, the jaw. 1 more inhale. Let's stay for the exhale. And on an inhale, come on up, engaging that abdomen, filling in the back. Taking a breath here in tabletop, readjusting as you need. Maybe a big sigh feels good. Let's do the other side. So on an inhale, let's bring that left leg back, toes on the mat. And then if you'd like, you can stay there, keep breathing, or you can lift that left leg up to meet the, or not to meet anything, I guess, to meet the air. But then let's keep the hips sort of like in line. And then from there,
engaging through that abdomen, filling in the lower back. Inhale, extending out with the right heel. Still keeping that abdomen engaged, and exhale, knee to nose. As if the abdomen really could move the leg. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. Or more like the left, and then inhale, left leg back. Or that the movement isn't separate from the abdominal support. Exhale, knee to nose. One more, I think. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. Then inhale, left leg back. And then on your exhale, let's bring that left leg out for gate pose. So left toes in line with right knee. And then we'll come up. So again, I'll turn toward the camera. This left leg is out. Arms are up over your head. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, right arm down for the sort of supported side plank. So right knee is relatively under the right hip, more or less. And then let's take a moment just to set this up on this side. So noticing again what's going on in the abdomen, what's going on in the hips, the ribs, the shoulders, the neck, the head. So this extension of the spine, engaging in the core, pressing down with that right arm. And then we can begin to lift that left leg up if you'd like, or you can come back down to the floor with the left leg. But if you are, yeah, you can take that moment to still press even a little bit of that left leg into the floor, engaging through the left leg. Or you can lift up with that left leg. A lot of core here and a lot of glutes as well. So engaging through the glutes will be helpful here. Really creating some nice stability in the right shoulder, the right arm, lengthening of the neck. One more inhale. And then exhale, left foot down, and then hands in front of you like tabletop. Let's take an inhale here. And then exhale, sit the hips back for this sort of left inner leg opener stretching situation. So I like to bring my head down like as if I was in a child's pose. And you can play with pointing and flexing the toes. Just sort of saying hello to our left inner leg. Let's take one more inhale. We'll stay for the exhale. And then inhale back up to table. Left knee meets the right. Let's take an inhale here, cow pose. Tuck the toes under and exhale for downward facing dog. So hips come high up and back. And then you can bring your feet together to touch, or you can have them hip width distance. I offer this feet together to touch as a way to engage through the inner thighs, the inner legs, all the way up into the core. So you can bend your knees as much as you would like, but really think about the stability that you have in this posture. So it's going to be a lot of, yeah, like weight into the hands. But we also have the legs to support us, and in between those, we have the core. So let's start with the feet. Actually, you can bring your heels down toward the mat if you would like, or you can kind of come up on your tippy toes or somewhere in between. But spreading, feeling whatever point of contact you have with the feet really on the mat. And then from there, bringing your navel up and in towards the spine, letting the head and neck be easy, not so stressed or engaged. And then the shoulders are really going to be doing some work here. It's not all in the shoulders, but this connection between the hands and the shoulders, the back is very real. So maybe a little bend in the elbows will be helpful to help engage the muscles instead of loading too much into the joints. And then like we're filling in our lower back with our abdomen, think about filling in the upper back with the chest. So we're not like, uh, we're just allowing the ribs and the scapula to meet. All right, let's take a breath in and out. Listen here, inhale, shift forward into plank and pause. So here we're in our plank pose. If you need to adjust, do so. So plank can be done on your hands or your forearms, up on the toes or down on the knees. So I'll show a little bit of both being on my toes and my knees. But first of all, if you're up on the toes, let's bring the feet together to touch, engaging, zipping up through those inner thighs. And then from there, engaging the abdomen up and in towards the spine. From there, pressing the hands down. Again, this connection of the hands to the back. Bend in the elbows. Let's take one breath in and out. Inhale back to downward facing dog. Take an exhale here. We'll do one more plank. So inhale, shift forward. Come into your plank. So I'm going to show this from my knees. So coming into your plank position, zipping up through those inner thighs, abdomen towards the back, supporting the back. The chest is meeting the upper back, the ribs are moving, the breath is flowing. Let's take one more inhale. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward towards your hands. And exhale, step forward for ragdoll, forward fold. So ragdoll, you can grab for opposite elbows, sway side to side. You can also take any other arm variations that feel interesting to you. You can interlace the fingers behind the back, sort of opening up the shoulders. You can also bring the hands at the nape of the neck and lengthen out through the neck. It could feel really good. Don't pull too hard, like often just the weight of the hands and the arms is enough. Whatever your arm variation is, take a breath in. Exhale, hands down. And let's choose the feet for sun salutations. You can bring them together to touch or hips width distance. I recommend this feet together to touch so we can continue to work on our inner thigh engagement. From there, bend in the knees and slowly unfurl the spine, coming up. Adjusting as you need. My clothes always get a little funked up, so yeah, take the time you need to, settle. It's also just a lot. We just did a lot of work on the hands, the arms, and the head was hanging upside down. So give yourself a moment to settle. Maybe you need to open your eyes and sort of reorient, looking around. And if you'd like, you can close down the eyes again or keep them open. This is called Samastitihi in our yoga practice, meaning sort of like this equal on all sides sort of posture. So here I'm going to cue us through a more active Samastitihi. If you have a different way of practicing, go ahead. We're going to be here for about 30 seconds to a minute, so just know that. We'll start with the feet, so spreading the weight across all four corners of the feet. From there, feeling into the legs. So there is sort of this upward movement, but it's not so much about like engaging the quads so much like the front of the thighs or clenching the butt too much. I think more so it's about this sort of connection of the inner thighs lifting up into the pelvis, into the abdomen. So our outer thighs are some really big muscles, and in the like our hamstrings, our quads, things like these, they're like these really big muscles in the body, but often our adductors can be a little bit less acknowledged. Or maybe that's not the truth for you, and that's okay. But instead of like, oftentimes these big muscles don't need so much reminder to engage, like they're gonna often be working pretty hard. So let's remind the inner thighs that they can also help us. And then engaging the sort of lifting up of the pelvic floor, if that's in your practice, or if it's, you can invite the body to do so, and then engaging again through the abdomen. From there, the ribs are stacked over the hips, head on top of the ribs, shoulders are sort of, I would invite them to be a bit more relaxed, down away from the ears. The scapula have maybe a nice relationship with the rib cage, using that support of the muscles adhering the scapula to the ribs. So no need to engage the upper traps too much, just allowing the shoulders to be down and soft, supported. What would it feel like to have supported shoulders? I think having a supportive core can really help with that. So from there, a slight lift of the crown of the head, lengthening of the neck just slightly. Hands can be down by your sides or any other sort of area that feels supportive in the body. I'm feeling like having mine down by my sides. And let's just practice for like 3 breaths, bringing our awareness into our center, our core of ourselves. Resting the awareness behind the navel and from the spine. One more breath in. If you'd like, you can sigh it out. We'll flow a couple sun A's, sun salutation A, and then a couple sun salutation B, and then we'll get down on the floor, do some stretching and a little bit of Shavasana rest. Okay, so as you're ready, inhale, arms up for mountain pose, and let's pause. So I know that you can't see my arms above the screen, but my arms right now are shoulder width distance. You can bring the hands together to touch and look up at the hands if that's in your practice. But from here, similar as that sort of active Samastitihi, engaging through those inner thighs, the core. The abdomen is filling in the lower back and reaching up with the fingertips, but rooting down through the heels. So we're going to take an inhale here, reach up. Listen, exhale, open twist to the right. We'll stay here just for one breath. We're twisting with the core, with the spine, not just yanking the shoulder back. So really be mindful of the shoulders. Maybe you want to bend the elbows. Let's take one more breath in. Stay for the breath out. Inhale, arms up overhead, supporting with the core. Exhale, open twist left. Pausing here. So again, maybe a little bend in the elbows. We're honoring our range of motion. Let's take one more breath in. Stay for the exhale. Okay, inhale, arms up overhead, mountain. Exhale, baby back bend. Bend the elbows, lift the chest, gaze up, root down through the heels, engage the abdomen. And then inhale, arms up, mountain pose as you're ready. Exhale, bend the knees forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back for plank and pause. So in this class, this first class, I'm just going to offer plank to down dog. If chaturanga is in your practice, you can go ahead and take that now. But we're just going to stay in plank for 2 breaths in place of our chaturanga. So again, a little bend in the elbows, rooting down through the hands and the feet, zipping up through those inner thighs, and then really feeling that abdomen supporting the lower back and in turn supporting the rest of the body. One more breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips high and back. Let's take a breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. We'll slow that now. Breath to posture, follow along as best as you can, and it's okay if you go a little slower or faster than me. We'll meet up together in plank and down dog. So as you're ready, inhale, look forward. Exhale, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, extending out through the spine, filling in the back with the abdomen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose, arms up, engaging through those inner thighs. Exhale, open twist right, honoring your range of motion. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, open twist left. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, baby back bend. Oh yeah, inhale, arms up. And then exhale, fold, filling in the back with the abdomen, bending the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, extending the spine. And then exhale, step it back for plank. If you'd like, you can go straight to chaturanga or straight to downward dog or a different posture. Let's stay here for 2 breaths, filling in the back with the abdomen. One more breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right away, inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose, arms reaching up. Exhale, open twist to the right. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, open twist to the left. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back for plank. You can go straight to down dog or any other posture. Little bend in the elbows. And what would it be like to feel this posture, the support of this posture, really coming from the core more than any other place in the body? One more breath in. Exhale, down dog. Take a breath in and sigh it out. Great. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Listen here, it's different. Exhale, fold, bend through the knees. Inhale, lift the chest, and we'll go into fierce pose. So this is like my friend, yes, and teacher Emily. She is my main yoga teacher. She always is just like, this is straight up a squat. So really fierce pose is a squat. So here we're squatting and my knees are together. So you can have the arms up, you can have the hands at your heart or anywhere else you would like. But here we're engaging through the inner thighs. So even if your thighs aren't touching, there's this sort of activity of connectedness there. And I encourage you to try it with the thighs together so we can feel that sort of zipping up of the thighs into the abdomen, feeling in the lower back with the abdomen. Arms can reach back up. One more inhale. Listen here, exhale, open twist to the right. And we'll pause just for 2 breaths, engaging through the abdomen. Gaze is soft, maybe focused on something nice in your room. Next inhale, arms up. Exhale, open twist left. Ooh. Being with the sensation, still practicing your yoga, practicing your breath. Next inhale, left arm up. Exhale, fold. Ooh. Let that go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back for low lunge and pause. So we're going to stay here in low lunge, setting this up. Feet are on separate tracks. So we're making contact with all 4 corners of that left foot and the toes of the right foot. And then from here, playing around a bit with the hip. So I tend to kick my left hip out, but think about the sort of, again, bringing together of the different sides of the body through the core. And we're going to flow some cow-cat lunges. So inhale for cow lunge, dropping that back knee, lifting the chest. We're flowing it breath to movement. Exhale, cat lunge, straightening through the front leg, rounding the spine. Inhale, cow lunge, still engaging through that abdomen. Exhale, cat lunge. One more. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Great. Inhale, low lunge. And then we're going to set up for crescent lunge. So we're coming up to high lunge. So really root down, stamp down through that left heel, and inhale, lift the chest. Woo, and let's pause. So here we are lunging. And yeah, different teachers of mine teach this differently. But what I want us to also just really feel here is like we're in a lunge. So it's about also, there's this connectivity still between the legs coming into the center line, although they're in different places. And that's happening through the core. So it can be helpful to have a little bend, a slight bend in the right knee. And we're stacking the ribs over the hips. You can be a little bit deeper in your lunge, and that's going to create more of a or anterior tilt of your pelvis, which is totally fine. It's however you choose to practice. I'm going to do a little bend in my right knee. We're going to inhale here. And then exhale, open twist to the left. Pausing just for a couple breaths on this first round. Again, honor your range of motion, maybe bending through the elbows. One more breath in. And let's stay for the exhale. Inhale, arms up, crescent. Exhale, warrior 2. Pause. So I'll turn around. So warrior 2, left foot is forward, right foot is back. Left foot is parallel with the mat. Right foot might be 90 degrees, 45. I think it depends a lot on your hips and your knees. Different teachers will say different things. So see what feels better for you. But again, there's this connectivity between the inseams of the feet and the thighs. They're not working on totally different planes, they're actually supporting each other. And there is a little bit of like an inward pull between the two legs and the feet. And then we're also still engaging through the core. I often tend to really kind of do funky things with my shoulders here. So still stacking the shoulders over the ribs, over the hips. Gaze can be long over the left fingers. Let's take an inhale here. Stay for the exhale. Inhale is reverse warrior. So right arm down, left arm up and back. We'll pause and breathe. So try not to do this posture just with like the neck really reaching back. Neck is supported by the spine and the pelvis. So let the spine do the flexion, not the neck. So, but the neck is still long, crown is reaching up towards the sky. One more inhale. And then exhale, come back to warrior two. Inhale, straighten that left leg. And here we're going to pause for a moment, a little bend in that left knee, and then we're going to come into triangle pose. So engaging right away through that abdomen, and then left arm comes down, right arm comes up, and we're going to pause. So there's some like interesting stuff going on in the hips. We have this opening of the left hip, sort of internal rotation of the right, and then really, really still feel the ground with the feet. And notice if you're really hyperextending through the knees, try to maybe have a little bend if that is available for you. And I'm having my hand on my lower back. You can try it too to really fill in still the lower back with the abdomen. So I invite you to bring your right arm up, and then left arm can be on a block if you have, or you can use your leg for support like I'm doing. Or I'll invite you here to practice lifting that left arm off the leg or off the block and feeling how much of that core is engaged, that center of the body. So this filling in of that back with the abdomen, letting the breath flow, gazes wherever feels comfortable. One more breath in. Stay for the breath out. Inhale, arms up overhead. Woo, high pyramid. Feet come to parallel. Exhale, forward fold. Woo. Wide-legged forward fold. So let's take some time here in this forward fold. Yeah, maybe you want to side out. And you can do what you would like with the hands. I like to have a little bend in my knees here, but still in this posture, it will help if you engage a bit through the abdomen. So we're forward folding. So we're stretching. When we stretch, we lengthen some of our muscles by actually contracting other ones when we're doing more active stretching. So here you can really let the head hang heavy. We're decompressing the spine. And it'll help to decompress the spine if we can just engage a bit through the abdomen. But again, we have a balance, right, between strength and ease. So we're not just like forcing it. It's just a bit of, yeah, like a nice hug of the back with the abdomen. You can do whatever you'd like with the hands. Mine are just kind of hanging out on my feet, which feels nice. But you can again take your shoulder expansion or elongating the neck. Wherever you're at, let's take one more breath in. Exhale, side out. So I'm going to come back and then let's go inhale, half lift. And then exhale, low lunge to the front of your mat with the left leg. And I know this might look confusing because I just did this, started on the other side, but I wanted to keep myself open to the camera. So your left foot is forward, your right foot is back. Low lunge. Inhale to plank, pause. Let's be here for a couple of breaths. Again, come down to the knees or skip it if you need. One more breath in. Exhale, hips back, downward facing dog. Awesome. Take a breath in. Exhale, side out. Let's go again. Take another breath in through the nose. Exhale, side out through the mouth. Inhale, look forward towards your hands. Exhale, step forward for forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Fierce pose, sit the hips low. Inhale, raise the chest. Pause here. Just a couple of breaths again in fierce. just sort of taking a moment to negotiate with the legs and the hips, the core. So this zipping up of the inner thighs, filling in the lower back with the abdomen, taking another breath in. Just one breath, exhale, open up to the right, open twist. Inhale back to center. Exhale, open twist left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step your left leg back, low lunge, pause. So let's make sure the feet are in sort of separate tracks. And then from there, let's just begin to feel we're in a lunge. So again, feeling the feet on the ground and then feeling for the hips. Just feeling if the hip is sort of kicking out to the side. Again, there's this engagement between the inseams of the legs here. And I'm on my fists here. You can be on blocks or fingertips. I have still working through a little bit of a wrist injury, so I often will kind of have a lot of variation into my hands. So let's do cow cat lunge. So inhale, cow lunge, drop the back knee, lift the gaze. Exhale, cat lunge, rounding, doming through the spine, smooth, straightening the right leg. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. One more. Inhale, cow. Drop the back knee, lift the chest, still engaging through the abdomen. Exhale, rounding the spine, straightening the right leg. Inhale, low lunge. Pause. Let's, just get ready to come up to our high lunge. Really rooting down, stamping down through the right heel. Inhale, crescent lunge, high lunge, pause. So here, now we're on the other side. So again, feeling this, the inseams of the legs coming together, sort of still zipping up, engaging through that core. Maybe a little bend of the back knee is going to help you have more of this stacked crescent lunge. Or maybe you feel more interested in having the deeper bend in the right knee, lengthening out through the front of the left thigh. Still, you can engage through the abdomen, no problem, whichever one you prefer, somewhere in between. Take one more breath in. And then exhale, we have that open twist to the right. And we're going to pause. So here, you might feel your balance going a little funky. It's all okay. It's all part of the practice. Engaging through that abdomen, really honoring your range of motion, not pulling too much with the shoulders. One more breath in. And exhale here. Inhale, arms up, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Left heel down, arms out to a T, and let's pause. So warrior two, right foot is forward, left foot is back. Right foot is about parallel to the mat. Left foot is maybe 90, 45, somewhere in between. And then from there, there's still this connectivity between the inner thighs, rooting down through the feet, stacking of the shoulders on top of the ribs, on top of the hips. Gaze maybe over that right hand. Let's take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reverse, left arm down, right arm up and back. Again, pause. So feeling that lengthening of the spine, crown of the head is reaching up, pelvis, sacrum, base of the spine is reaching sort of down, arms up, right arm up and back. Gaze might be up, straight or down. One more breath in. And then exhale back to warrior two. Inhale, straightening through that right leg. Maybe you walk that left foot in a little bit, like me, I have kind of short legs. Take an inhale. And then exhale, triangle. So bring the right arm down, left arm up, and we'll pause. So here, it's kind of like warrior two, but now the legs are straight. So it's kind of going to ask us to engage different muscles. But if you can really press down through your toes and you feel your big toe, it's really connected to your inner thigh, fascially, muscularly, etc. And so if we can sort of engage not just the outside of the foot, but the inside as well, feeling this connection up into the pelvis and the abdomen. And from there, maybe you take your hand to your lower back, feeling the connection of the abdomen with the spine, that support there. And then from there, maybe left arm back up, right arm might come off the leg or the block, and we'll breathe here for 2 breaths. Feeling the engaging of the abdomen, to hold us at this lateral flexion in the spine. One more breath in. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, high pyramid, legs to parallel, feet to parallel, and then exhale, wide-legged forward fold again. Maybe a bend in the knees. We'll stay for a couple breaths again. Taking a breath in and out. One more breath in and out. Inhale, halfway lift, extend the spine. Exhale, low lunge to the front. Inhale, step it back to plank. And then exhale, stay here. Engaging through the inner thighs, little bend in the elbow, pushing back with the heels, lengthening of the neck. Crown of the head is reaching forward. One more inhale. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Exhale, side out. And then come down to the knees. We'll take a little moment of, just rest. We're going to flow through that. Let's see, I'll check the time. Either once or twice on each side. Okay, just once. This will be a little longer of a practice. We'll just do it once on each side. And then we'll do just a little stretching and then, get into whatever is next. We'll stretch and rest. Okay. So let's just take a few more breaths here in whatever posture you're in. Could be a good time to get water or, I don't know, do whatever you need for a couple minutes. Not a couple minutes, more like a few breaths. Yeah, I'm very new to teaching online in any capacity, and also talking while I'm practicing is very new for me. So I appreciate your patience as am sharing this sort of new experience with you. I also tend to be like a slow vinyasa teacher. In my own practice, it varies, but which is how I understand these movement practices. Is often I'm kind of more slow and like whatever. I don't know the other words for it, but yeah, that might be your vibe. It might not be. So yeah, thanks for giving it a go if you've made it this far in the video. Anyway, let's come back to our bodies. Let's come back to the moment, using the body, the breath as a way to practice presence. So bringing your awareness back into the body, into how you feel. Maybe taking a sigh or like a wiggle or stillness, whatever you need. And let's slow that once on each side and start to transition into a little even slower part of the practice. Okay, so I'll meet you in downward facing dog. But slowness doesn't always mean it's easy, right? Like, I don't know. For me, it's actually a little bit more difficult to go slow with these postures, so maybe you're finding that as well. But anyway, downward facing dog, hips high up and back. Let's take a breath in. Exhale, side out. Inhale, look forward at the hands. Exhale, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, extend the spine. Exhale, fold, bend the knees. Inhale, fierce pose, arms up, just one breath in. Exhale, open twist to the right. Inhale, arms up, fierce. Exhale, open twist to the left. Inhale, arms up, fierce pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the right foot back, low lunge. Listen here right away. Inhale, crescent lunge, arms up. Exhale, open twist to the right. Inhale, arms up, crescent. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten that left leg. Exhale, triangle pose. Maybe the left hand extends out into the air. Inhale, high pyramid. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, extend the spine. Exhale, low lunge to the front. Inhale for plank. Pause here for 2 breaths. Abdomen is filling in the lower back. 1 more breath in. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, fierce pose, sit the hips low, arms up. Exhale, open twist right. Inhale, fierce pose, arms up. Exhale, open twist left. Inhale, fierce. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step that left leg back, low lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge, arms up. Exhale, open twist to the right. Inhale, arms up, crescent. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale, triangle pose. Maybe that right hand stays in the air instead of on the support, supporting with the abdomen. Inhale, arms up. Feet come to parallel. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, low lunge to the front of the mat. Inhale, plank. Exhale, plank. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Sigh it out. Let's come down to the knees. And let's sit in what they call hero's pose. Just sitting hips to heels. We've done a lot of twisting and a little bit of back bending, so we're going to take like a variation on camel pose. So we're going to bring, as you're ready, bring the right hand. I like tenting through my fingertips, and maybe it's about 6 inches behind my right foot, and then raise that left arm up, and then engage through the glutes, the abdomen. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the chest. We're back bending and twisting. Again, let the neck and head be supported by the spine and the core, the rest of the body, reaching those fingertips, left fingertips up and back, but the left shoulder still connected to the back, away from the ear. 1 more inhale. Exhale, sit the hips down. Pause for a moment, take a breath in and out. Oh, you want to move around a little bit. Okay, let's do the other side. So left arm back, maybe about 6 inches away from the foot. Raising that arm up, right arm up, and then inhale, lift the hips. Reach that right arm back, opening up through the front of the body, slightly twisting. Gaze can be wherever feels comfortable. 1 more inhale. Exhale, sit the hips down. And then let's bring the legs out long in front. We'll come into a butterfly forward fold. So I like to move the flesh out from underneath my glutes. Feet are together, or soles of the feet together, knees out wide. You can decide how close in you want your heels to your pelvis. Take a breath in. And then exhale, forward fold. You can, oh, my legs are sore. But you can press down with the elbows if you'd like on the legs. You don't need to, but so open up the inner thighs a little more. Or arms can be hands can be onto the feet or out in front of you. Just take a breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Inhale, come on up. And then we're going to come into a reverse tabletop. We've done a lot of like core work, so let's stretch out through the front of the body. So hands are, again, maybe about 6 inches behind the glutes, 6 to 12 inches. Fingertips facing the glutes. And then before we lift up, engaging through that abdomen, sort of bringing the pelvis back. And then on an inhale, press down through the feet, down through the hands, lifting up through the chest. You can let the head hang heavy, behind you, or you can keep that gaze forward, but lifting up through the chest, engaging the glutes. One more breath in. Exhale, sit the hips back. Listen here, keep the hands, the arms where they are. Maybe walk the feet out a little bit more. And then you're going to press back with the elbows, bending through the elbows, sort of, yeah, opening up through the chest. Woo. Yeah, I feel that a lot in my upper back too. One more breath in. Exhale, come on up. Okay, and as we come down to the mat, let's just move slowly. So you can have your hands on your knees, your thighs, or out in front of you. I'll show out in front, but just because I do that doesn't mean you have to. But from here, let's inhale, lifting the chest up, but not just the chest, where the chest is lifting because the core is engaged and I'm tilting my pelvis a little bit forward. So inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, round, really rounding, bringing that lower abdomen toward the spine. Maybe you want to engage the thighs here together. We're just slowly going to come back to our backs with control, with the abdomen engaged, lower abdomen, sacrum, or sorry, lower back, sacrum hits, then the mid back, upper back. Whew. And then arms up overhead, feet down, pointing, toes are pointing, stretching out. Whew. Yeah. Okay, from there, let's hug the knees in towards the chest and rock around a little bit side to side. From here, you can take a happy baby if you would like, or maybe you want to extend the feet out, or the legs out, excuse me. I'm going to go for a happy baby or any sort of like finishing postures your body is wanting. Been really feeling the happy baby lately, but here in happy baby, try not to lift the hips up too much, like off the mat. Again, honoring your range of motion, keeping the lower back lengthened, maybe even a little slight tuck of the chin. Let's take one more inhale and exhale. All right, let's hug the knees in towards the chest. And then let's end with a supine twist. So stacking the right knee over the left, legs come toward the left, arms could be out to a T. I'm having my left arm, my left hand on my right leg. You can close down the eyes. My face is facing the ceiling, but you can turn a cheek if you would like, sort of lengthening out the neck. And again, feeling that support of the floor. One more inhale. And exhale. All right, knees back to center. Maybe you want to walk around a little bit. Rock around, it might have sounded like I said walk around. And then from there, knees over to the right, stacking left knee on top of right, and then the left arm out. Right arm wherever feels good. I have it on my thigh, but you could bring it to your abdomen. You could bring it out to a T or goal posted. But we did a lot of active twisting today, so here we're just sort of trying to really soften, letting go of that core sort of engagement, letting the belly really be soft and natural. And then as you're ready, bringing the knees back to center, giving yourself a big squeeze. And then exhale into your Shavasana. And I've ran us much over time, so yeah, I'm gonna we'll be here for just a minute. But my teacher Emily always says this too. It's really like even if we don't have much time, we can still take our time. So it doesn't mean it doesn't count, even if it's short. But let's practice here softening. Sort of softening around maybe the activity that's going on in the body after vinyasa practice. We'll rest here just, yeah, for another minute. As you're ready, take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, side out of the mouth. Oh, excuse me. Huh. Okay. And we'll meet in a seat. I'm going to roll over to one side and then just gently, slowly push myself up into a seated position. And let's just take a moment to close. Um, I like to bring my hands at heart center. This as like a sign, a physical embodiment practice of this practice of yoga. So, this uniting of left and right, these dualistic forces that make up our relative reality, and also a gesture of gratitude. Here in Nepal, when you thank someone, if you want to be very formal about it, as you thank them, you bring your hands together and you bow. Not so common, but it's if you want to be very polite, that's how you do it. And this posture really, this mudra, this sign really reminds me of gratitude. So I would like to offer up some gratitude to my body, your body, all bodies for practicing and exploring something new, maybe, or something old, or in a new way, or whatever. Just gratitude for practicing this practice, and also just gratitude to the people who came before us who have practiced and um, shared that practice, and just for the opportunity to practice. And also, last thing I'll say before we really close is in been doing a lot of different study into Buddhism than I have in when I was living in the U.S. And here, I've been immersed into Tibetan Buddhism a bit, and one of my teachers, I guess now I could call him, is talks a lot of always about our Buddha nature and just how within all of us we actually are Buddha. We actually are these quote unquote perfect, whole, enlightened beings. We just forget. Our ignorance is strong, our ignorance to the truth, and all of those things. And I'm not qualified to talk about that necessarily, but it really reminds me of the core of this class that really beneath it all, we all are okay. We all are of the same nature, this Buddha nature. At least that's how I am learning and how I'm practicing now. So if that resonates with you, great. If not, you can leave it. Let's end by just taking a breath in together. Exhale, sigh it out. And if it feels good to you, you can bow toward yourself, toward each other, everyone who's practicing, and again, those who came before us who have practiced. Okay, thank you so much for doing this practice. I apologize for it being a bit over time, or I didn't really say what time it was going to be, but it was just a long one. But yeah, I'm again like just new to doing this online, and I can prepare as much as I can, and then it's just going to kind of unfold as it does. So thanks for being on the journey with me. And if you have any feedback or any questions or anything, just reach out through email. And yeah, I'm doing all of these practices just donation based, and the teachings are offered freely. So please continue to practice if you'd like. And if you'd like to donate, that's much appreciated. My Venmo will be in the email. So lots of love from the other side of the world. And I hope to, yeah, speak with you all soon. So let me know how your practice is going.